to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Rody John, and what a show we've got for you today. We talked to Jay Hunter with Retropalooza, which is happening this weekend at the Arlington Expo Center, aka the Arlington Convention Center, aka the Esports Stadium. So go over there, check out your favorite old video games, YouTube host, cosplay. They have tournaments. They've got gaming tournaments. You hear all about it in this interview. It's a fun one, and we go a little bit in the woods about just the building of the Arlington Convention Center itself, because I've gone to many events there. Jay has hosted this Retropalooza since 2013, so we go into a fun little conversation about the whole building itself, but it's going to be fun, and please check that out this weekend. It does sound like an awesome event, as it is every year. So, and then we also hear the new single from Joseph Fisher Schramm called Mauve. This is a wonderful 10-minute instrumental that was recorded live in studio with the band. The video actually gets released November 4th, and also that night, he and them will be playing over at Dr. Jekyll's Beer Lab. So make sure to check that out. Make sure to go and check out the video, see them live. And so, enjoy that. 10 minutes, it's well worth every single second. So thank you so much. And without further ado, here is Jay Hunter.
I am here with Jay Hunter from Retropalooza. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, I am well. How are you?
Doing well. So Retropalooza is happening this weekend, October 22nd through the 23rd, over at the Arlington Expo Center. Now, what can people look forward to?
Oh man, let's see. We're going to have 150 vendor booths, mainly video games, mainly retro video games, some toy vendors, some video game art vendors. We're going to have arcades. We're going to have tournaments and the free play section, and special guest panelists, some YouTubers and some voice actors. Yeah, that's about it.
Now, you guys started back in 2013. How did it all begin?
So I actually do YouTube, and I was going to conventions as a guest myself. And after a couple of years of doing that, I started YouTube in 2011.
Wow.
And 2013, I did my first Retropalooza, and I just kind of saw what other people were doing. And I said, you know what, I think I could do this. I got a little bit of a following. I know a lot of people in the DFW area, as far as store owners and people who buy, sell, and trade and whatnot. So I put it together, and year one was out here in Arlington at the Bob Duncan Center, and it was about 5,000 square feet. And now we've been at the Arlington Convention Center, or Expo Center, or I don't know what the name is this week, but we've been there ever since. So this is year 10 doing it, but the 9th show. 2020, nobody could do anything. So
true. Now, I guess since you are over at the, like you said, Expo Center or Convention Center, because now it's also the Esports Stadium, which I love so much. How have you seen the development of that whole building? Because I think it's been Esports Stadium for, I want to say, close to 4 years now.
I remember when it happened, and I woke up to a ton of texts and emails, and people were freaking out, thinking that the entire building was going to be turned into the Esports Stadium. So I called my contact over at the convention center to find out what was actually going on. And they said they were going to take, half of the building. So not the expo side, with the hard floor and all that. They had a ballroom over there and real nice carpeted and chandelier and all that kind of stuff. So they took that entire section over. What it did for me is I actually lost my panel rooms at the expo, because back towards the back on the hotel side, the Sheraton side, if you're familiar with the building, I was using the breakaway walls in there as panel rooms. So that was the biggest challenge for me, honestly. I've used the hotel a couple times, actually, since they've opened up. I've used the hotel, and sometimes I've ran two 2 panel rooms out of the hotel, sometimes just one, and then I put up the air walls in the convention center to have the other panel room. It really just depends on how much is going to be going on that year and whether or not I have the space to be able to close off for a panel room. Nice. So that was the biggest obstacle for me, honestly.
Now, I mean, I'm sure you've reached out, but has there been any collaboration with y'all in the esports? Because I mean, gaming, no matter what, what age it came out or what year it came out or what system it came out on, games are kind of games, and people love playing games of all ages or platforms or whatever. I mean, I imagine you've reached out to them, but have they been receptive to maybe a collaboration?
The esports side?
Yes, sir.
So yes, they actually reached out to me last year, and
nice.
They actually ran my Smash Brothers tournament. Now I know I have some kind of inside information just dealing with the convention center itself, and they're not really doing quite as much. So they're kind of renting that out more than they're kind of using it for events of their own. It doesn't mean nobody's there and I can't get involved with anybody. This year, I'm actually hiring a guy to come out and do all of that for me. But the Smash tournament went really well. It ran well. And I mean, I didn't expect anything less because that's what they do over there.
Yeah, so. True. Yeah, I mean, that stage, if people have been out there and look at that stage, it is as awesome as it looks to be on it, because that thing is incredible.
I have had a behind the scenes tour of the facility, and it is crazy the amount that goes into just the screen for the stage is crazy. The wiring is nuts.
Yeah, they gave me that tour also, and I was like, and just going in that room with all like the software, and I was like, geez, this thing is, this is the brain for this entire building.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We went down a rabbit hole about esports in the whole building, which people probably didn't want to care about, but there's a lot of fun stuff in that building. And, obviously the Arlington Convention Center is going to be at the bottom of the new addition to Live at Lowe's, and it's going to be bigger. So the new convention center is going to be great, but I do still enjoy the esports stadium / old Arlington Convention Center, because I went to some Comic-Cons back in the day too, and there was different panel rooms. They used the big room for the panel. They used the small rooms as well. So I've been there in all facets, and I love that building.
I do too, and I have a rapport with them, and I don't like change. So if as long as that building stays open and they remain competitive with the price, then I will continue to use them. They've got a file on me, and I saw it the other day, and it's thick. It's a very, very thick file. So they have everything from the past 9 years there, as far as how many cars have come through for my event, the table set up, what years we had air walls built out or didn't, and like it's nuts. So they know me there. I don't want to start all over somewhere else. Right. And I use the Sheraton next door, and again, I've been with them the same amount of time, and yeah, the Lowe's is nice and all, don't get me wrong, and I've been there and I've looked and I've checked it out, and I'm going to look at options obviously, but it's you wake up, you go downstairs, you're at the convention.
Yeah. So
I know Lowe's is around the corner, it's not far, but it's still, you got to get up and drive. So as long as those doors stay open, I'll continue to stay there. Now that don't mean I'm not going to go check out the new convention center, of course, and see what it's about, but
you'll let somebody else do a convention there and see how that one looks. You don't have to deal with the headache or the hurting on your pocketbook.
I got to be honest, like it's getting very congested right there. So being, because now you've got the Choctaw Stadium.
Yep.
And then you've got the new Ranger Stadium.
Globe Life Field. Yep.
Right. You've got AT&T Stadium down the road, and now you've got Texas Live and all that. And they're building in addition to the hotel across the street with the convention center. And I think it could get messy down there. At least the Sheraton and Convention, Arlington Convention Center, Expo Center, they're off just a little bit from all of that mess. So
right. Yeah, I know that the new Medal of Honor Museum is going to kind of congest it a little bit, but I mean, like you said, they're tucked away by themselves, and that parking lot's all theirs, and so it just makes sense, and it does provide that kind of step away breath, like you said, from that congestion of what the city has
Yes.
built up. Not that anything's wrong with that area, because
No, I love it. I
yeah,
love that they're building it up, and I love that they're trying to attract, more people and even tourism, honestly, because let's be realistic. I wouldn't think of DFW as like a tourist destination spot.
mhm,
But if people are going to come into town for Cowboys games or OU weekend, and they do, might as well give them stuff to do. Might as well give them places to hang out.
mhm.
So I think it's great. But what I do like about the Arlington Expo Center is there's another way in, instead of having to be right there on Randall Mill and all that traffic from the stadiums and whatnot.
Right.
And that's something I have to deal with from time to time, is Cowboys traffic. Usually I'm this time of year. Excuse me. The Rangers are usually done playing,
Mhm.
unfortunately,
Yeah, very
by
unfortunately.
October. But the Cowboys are in full swing, and every now and again I'll have the same weekend as them, and it doesn't affect my attendance one way or the other. It doesn't seem to help it, but it also doesn't seem to hurt it. The only thing is the traffic. But at least I can tell people to come up. What is that ballpark?
Yeah.
From Lamar. And whereas the new convention center, it won't have that option. You literally just have to come up through Randall Mill to do that. So,
True.
advantages there, I guess.
Yeah.
And those are things I think about when I put stuff together. I think about the ease and can you get in, can you get out, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, you just kind of brought it up. So you've been doing this in 2013. Can you tell us what you've learned over the years about what to do and what not to do when it comes to running a Retropalooza?
yes, that's a good question, actually. So I continue to go to shows. I have a couple of shows a year that I really like to go to out there. And I don't know if anyone's not from here listening. Too Many Games is a good one. Portland Retro Gaming Expo was just this past weekend. Game On out in Phoenix. SoCal Retro Gaming Expo in Southern California. But every time I go to a show, and even my own, I pick up on not only, okay, what's going good and how can I improve that, but is there anything going bad and how can I find a better solution?
Right.
And one year out in Phoenix, I'll give you the cliff notes on it, but they had to add a lot of security, and it was checking bags and wanding and all that kind of stuff, metal detection and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. And it was they didn't have a way to streamline in like vendors who have to be at their table. Clearly, if they step out to go smoke or go eat or whatever, they got to get back into the convention center, or even like the guests, the panelists and that kind of stuff. So sitting here waiting in this super long line, and I know the guy who runs it, and that's the other thing. And it was just like, dude, what happened here? So when I did my convention that year, and we had the same thing going with the bag check and wand check and all that kind of stuff. And my solution to that was, okay, let me make a list, basically a no search list, because these are people I've known for years. I trust them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm paying for their flight, their hotel, all that good stuff. They're not going to come in here and try to do anything stupid or put anybody at harm or anything like that. So it was easy as kind of coming up to the side and, oh, hey, I'm Jay. I'm on the no checklist. Okay, here you go. Go ahead.
Wow.
So again, it's if something, and even if I take good things away from it too, and think, okay, how can I improve on that? How can I make this a little bit better? And one convention in particular, Too Many Games, that's up in the Philadelphia area. They were doing a best indie game dev, and it was just kind of like, oh, hey, you've got the best game of the weekend, awesome. So I took that a step further, and I got them a little plaque made up. And I even do one now for game developer, vendor, and artist table. And if you win it, you get one free booth the following year at any of my shows.
Oh, that's super cool.
So yeah, like I said, it's just, and the rule is you can't win twice on that.
I mean, at least they could win like maybe every other year.
Yeah, twice in a row. You can't win twice in a row. So.
Right.
But no, the vendors love it, and old winners in the past, they will come and they will display their plaque on their table, like it's a badge of honor. So that's kind of neat.
That is cool. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first year that Retropalooza is 2 days, correct?
Incorrect.
I'm so sorry. When was the first year?
Year 2, 2014.
Okay, there you go. So you have panels all weekend. Even on Friday, there's a panel. There's a double feature and a panel. And then
Yes.
you also have cosplay contests, gaming tournaments that range from NES to N64 to PS2. So you
Mhm.
truly have a little bit of everything for somebody.
I try to, yes, I try to. Again, I look at a lot of, what do I want at something like this, and I do listen to feedback. People
Yeah.
tell me one thing I lacked for many years was arcades, and I had 10 here one year, and then maybe the next year another 12, and then kind of dropped off for a couple of years. Well, now I own my own, so I'm able to bring arcades in because that was something that I was really, really lacking for a lot of years, and well, now I'm not. So, and then again, that was something that people were like, oh, some arcades would be neat. Well, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just have to get a hold of them.
Right.
So,
That's so cool. Now, do you have a favorite time frame for like when it comes to the nostalgia? And are you more of a video game guy? Are you a toy guy? Is there, where are you on the spectrum?
I'm everything.
Nice.
I do collect games. I do collect toys. And it doesn't just stop there. It's lunch boxes and remember the old TV dinner. I don't know how old you are, but I come
I'm
from a
39,
time-
so yeah.
Okay, so all right, I'm 43. You're right
There you
there.
go.
Those old little fold out trays with ET on them or
Uh-huh.
GI Joe on them. Yeah. I just collect. Some people might call it hoarding, but there's a lot of us out there who hoard. So
True.
as far as time of year no, I mean, I game, I do streaming, and that's mainly retro stuff, from NES to, Genesis, Nintendo 64, TurboGrafx, PS2. And then on my own time, I do modern gaming.
Oh, okay.
So, I've got a Switch and a PS5.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, last night I was just playing, was I playing The Show 22 last night?
How is that?
The game's good, and every year, I mean, The Show, in my opinion, has been the best baseball game out for many years
Yeah,
now.
I think the same thing. EA just fell off a long time ago.
Oh yeah. I like 2020's The Show for the my career mode. They seem to be a little bit better, get your guy ranked up a little bit quicker. And 21, they kind of changed it a little bit, and it was like, it's not great. But the game itself is amazing, and it is every year.
Yeah. Now, have you gotten to the point of trying to stop collect your childhood, or is there like a white whale of something that you still can't find yet?
That's a good question too. It's so, with like GI Joe, I had a ton of GI Joe figures when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And at this point I have everything I had when I was younger and then some.
Nice. Yeah.
And I'm not really getting into bases and play sets and vehicles with GI Joe just yet, mainly because I don't have the room. But for that, it would be the Cobra Terradrome.
Oh, wow.
That big round. Yeah, that is something that I've been on the lookout for. With video games, I've been so focused on arcades lately the last couple of years that console and cartridge games have kind of gone to the wayside. Because I'm sitting on 76 arcade machines now.
In your house?
No, they're
in a
in
warehouse.
store. They're in
I was gonna say, I was like, Jesus, what mansion are you living in right now?
I know, right? I wish. Well, my ultimate goal with that is I want to actually open a barcade in time.
Perfect.
Might be at least a year, but probably closer to 24 months out on that. So, but that's another project down the road. But in the meantime, I have them, and it makes sense to bring them to Retropalooza.
For sure. Do you have a location in mind for your retro bar?
I'd like Arlington, just because I live here.
Yeah.
I know you've got Free Play Arcade out there close to the downtown area.
And Side Arcade would be coming in soon as well.
That's what I heard. I know they just opened a location in Fort Worth. So, I mean, if they've got the money to do both at the same time, then more power to them. But I heard Side Arcade was going to be close to Free Play. There's, what is the old brewery that closed down?
Legal Draft.
Which one is it?
Legal Draft.
Legal Draft. Yes, that's the ones. I heard they're moving in there.
Yep, that's what I heard too.
So that being said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I think from what I also heard, they just opened another one or opened a location in Houston as well. So
I think that's accurate. Yes,
yeah.
it's accurate. I've been to Cidercade in Dallas, and I think
Oh yeah, I think it's dope as
great.
hell. Yeah.
Great selection, amazing selection. Actually, they stick with their own brew stuff. I'm a simple like, hey, give me a Bud Light kind of guy. Can't have that there. So, if it points off for that, just personally speaking. But location, I like Arlington. I'm not married to Arlington. DFW is big enough. And Free Play has 3 or 4 locations. I don't know if the Denton location ever reopened or but I know they got the Arlington, Richardson, and Fort Worth location, and now you got Cidercade with 2 locations here, possible third.
Yeah.
There's Corky's out in Grapevine. I think there's something down in Deep Ellum. There's plenty of money to go around. There's plenty of food on the table we got 7 million people here in DFW.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm not trying to open up right down the road from, my quote unquote competition like Cidercade is doing. I at one point was looking at the old Sherlock's there in Lincoln Square.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
miss
Sherlock so much.
I'd actually gone down to the city hall, and they were actually really excited about the idea of an arcade in the quote entertainment district. But there is a tenant there, and I don't know who it is. I can only speculate, who they can block arcades from moving into, I guess, strips that they're in. So that was a no-go, and I was going to get it super cheap too. This was all pre-pandemic, so
right.
I'm glad it didn't work out, because I might have opened and closed in months. You know what I'm saying? So, maybe the south side of Arlington, maybe 20 Green Oaks area, 20 Little Road area, down by the Parks Mall would definitely be something that I'm not opposed to for sure. Even going on the north side in the entertainment district, it's still kind of close to Free Play and all of that. But Arlington's my first choice, but they're not my only choice. And kind of like Free Play, I want to have multiple locations. So
yeah.
We'll
see. If I may suggest, I very much agree with South Arlington, because South Arlington unfortunately does not get the love that it needs to. And also even further south, closer to maybe Mansfield, because there's going to be a lot of people coming right up and off Cooper. I'm just throwing that out there. I think it'd be the perfect spot.
Yeah, I live on the south side, and I know exactly what you're saying. And going south on Cooper, other side of 20, south side of 20 towards Mansfield, it is starting to build up. So maybe to get in on this kind of, it's not ground floor, but maybe that second, third floor that's being built right now before everything else is around there. It's not dumb. You're right. It's not dumb. I think if you build it, they will come.
It's true.
Advertising, so social media advertising is huge these days. I don't even do print ad anymore. I used to, get the 4x6 cards made up, and I would walk the streets, and I would put them on doors and put them on cars, and go to the malls and put them on windshields and all that kind of stuff. And I get more bang for my buck with social media advertising. You can actually track that.
True.
You can track how many people have seen the ad, how many people, clicked on the link, and how many people clicked on the website, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a great tool. Again, more money for more bang for your buck.
Oh, without a doubt. Now we have a segment on the show called Tournament Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington. Do you have a favorite pizza place?
Ooh, Brooklyn's Best.
Yeah, they're good.
Brooklyn's Best is up there. I still like New Yorker. I think they're pretty good. That's on the north side of town, over by Fred's downtown Philly. Let's see here. The guy who used to work for Brooklyn actually opened up New York's Best, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good, but I still think Brooklyn's is better. Their crust, there's something about their crust. It's light and airy, but still crispy. And I don't know, maybe it's the water they use. I don't know. I've heard a lot of, people from the Northeast say, oh, we get water shipped in because the dough doesn't rise the same and this and that. See, if I had to round out a top 3, I'm still partial to Nizza Pizza.
Yeah, for sure.
So their first location over on Park Row and Cooper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that'd be my top three, but Brooklyn's best number one.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those, really. Now, if people wanted to find you online, buy tickets, come out, how can they do that?
Retropalooza.com. All of our social medias. Instagram is at Retropalooza. I think Twitter is at the Retropalooza because Retropalooza was already taken on Twitter when I started all the socials. Yeah, just everything at Retropalooza.
There you go.
And retropalooza.com. And I mean, I'm going to shamelessly plug, but we do a show down in Houston as well, in Pasadena, and it's retropaloozahouston.com. So if people didn't know about that and they're out that way listening to you.
There you go. Yeah. So go on out to either the Arlington one or the Houston location. Not location, but the Houston show. But yeah, go out there this weekend. And Jay, thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Hello, my name is Joseph Fisher Schramm. My new single Mauve releases everywhere on November 4th, but you'll be the first to hear it now on the Downtown Podcast, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media.
much to our guest, Jay Hunter, with Retropalooza. Again, go check that out this weekend. And again, thank you, Joseph Fisher Schramm. He recorded his own bumper. If you're an artist and you've got new music that you want to put on our show or even debut on our show, please do. Let's hit us up on all our socials. Hit us up on the email. We are very open, obviously, to local musicians, making sure that people know this music is out there and really trying to get it out to the masses. So, let us know what you want to be released on our show. And again, if you want to record a bumper like he did, I'm not stopping you. It's less work for us, really. So, I'm just kidding. I love doing what I do here for the city. But while you're listening to all this new music, every Monday night, head on over to Dr. Jekyll's because it is trivia night, which starts at 7 p.m. Every first Tuesday at Bliss Lounge is their karaoke night, which starts at 11 p.m. And you could have a chance to win $200. So if you're a ringer with the voice, head on over to Bliss Lounge every first Tuesday. And then every Tuesday is comedy night over at Mavericks Bar and Grill, and that starts at 7 p.m. And then every Wednesday over at Jambo's Barbecue, catch UGA Jazz Night from 5:30 to 7:30. And then every Wednesday night over at Division, that is their trivia night. That is from 7 to 9 p.m. So make sure to go out and do all that fun stuff. And while you're doing that, make sure to eat local, drink local, and rediscover your city.
Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.